shell can go for 2 miles. So quite a nasty bit of a weapon here. It's called a Dahlgren bow howitzer, used during the American Civil War by navies of both sides. It's used to back up landing parties of sailors and marines when they're going ashore to attack an enemy. But it can also be developed to remove from the field carriage, like you see it now, and put aboard a naval truck so it can be used aboard a ship. So it's a dual-purpose cannon, okay? Black powder, not modern powder, right? And it's very light. One man can actually wheel this cannon around. It's that light. So, very, very nice piece of weapon. The sailors you see before you are wearing summer uniform of both navies of the American Civil War. During summer, most navies wore white clothing. Later on in the winter months, Confederate sailors wore a grey uniform, the United States sailors wore a blue one. Why are we interested in Civil War Navy? It incorporates both Australian history and American history. During the American Civil War in 1865, the Confederate warship Shenandoah arrived in Melbourne to transfer a lot of documents over to the Royal Mail steamer to take back to Europe, and also to have some repairs done at Williamstown. While here, they recruited 42 Victorians into the Confederate Navy. 6 signed on as Marines, 36 as sailors. After leaving Melbourne, Shenandoah went up through the Pacific Indian Oceans into the Arctic, raiding the United States whaling fleet. Not knowing that by the time they got up there, the war had come to an end, the Southerners had lost the war. So, what happened? They realised they'd been fighting on, after the war was over, sinking Yankee ships. So rather than surrender the ship to the United States authorities, they sailed it to Liverpool and surrendered the ship to the British. And there they were paroled and allowed to go home. As a result of the damage that the Shenandoah and other Confederate warships had done to United States shipping, the United States government sued the British government for $15 million in gold. A lot of it included the damage that the Shenandoah had done since leaving Melbourne, and the British had to pay. So it was in 1870 the British government sent $15 million in gold in reparations to the United States. So there we go, it's a little bit of your Australian history and your American history. The Victorians were part of the last Confederates to surrender during the Civil War. We'll now walk you through the team and what their job is. The first person off the rack is our powder monkey. What's a powder monkey? Powder monkey were young sailors who served aboard ships who brought the powder and ammunition up from the powder rooms aboard a ship, brought it up to the guns. On land, he carried the ammunition from an ammunition chest to the guns. That's the powder monkey's job. The other one is the loader. When the cartridge is brought and placed in the muzzle by the powder monkey, his job is to sit the cartridge into the breech of the gun. Next is the gunner. The gunner's job is to aim and fire the gun. And it will talk you through the system of firing the gun, okay? Finally, after the gun's been fired, wet sponge is placed down the barrel to put out any sparks. Because if you ever go to fire it for the second time, woe betide putting the cartridge down without sponging out the sparks. You could blow your arms off or probably kill yourself. This is a real cannon, this isn't a dummy. So it's a killer weapon, unfortunately for some people. Right, prepare the gun. Prepare to load. Load. And you'll notice none of the crew stand directly in front of the barrels. Now the powder monkey places the cartridge in, being tamped down. The gunner takes his spike and spikes the cartridge. This puts a hole in the cartridge so So when he puts the primer in, which you'll see him do in a minute, that primer, when it's hit by the hammer, puts the spark into the cartridge and fires it. He's now putting the primer in. Gun ready. Prepare to fire. Fire!